Hello class and welcome to week 4. This week we will cover workforce, jobs and retention. With this week's lesson and content, my goal is that you get an understanding of behavioral notions that affect individual and organizational relationships. Also, that you get an understanding of how to identify the skills that an employee may need for a particular job. Number 3, that you reflect and practice skills by completing individually a turnover calculation, and that you complete a mid-course evaluation so we can gather feedback and assess if your experience has been what you expected so far. And if not, we can understand how potentially we can make changes for this course. As usual, please ensure that before you continue watching this video, you have already read chapter 3 of the textbook. If you haven't, please pause, read chapter 3, and then come back to the video. From the textbook, it is important to be aware of certain concepts such as the labor force participation rate, which is the percentage of the population working or seeking work. Work is effort directed toward accomplishing results. The work may be done by humans, machines, or both. But the total amount of work to be done in an organization must be divided into jobs so that it can be coordinated in some logical way. A job is a grouping of tasks, duties, and responsibilities that constitutes the total work assignment for an employee. These tasks, duties, and responsibilities may change over time, and therefore the job may change. Workflow analysis is the study of the way work moves through an organization. To be effective, human resources planning, recruiting, and selection all should be based on job requirements and the capabilities of individuals that are identified by job analysis. In equal employment opportunity, EEO matters. Accurate details on job requirements are needed because the credentials in job descriptions can affect core decisions. Human resources professionals play a role and should be involved with understanding the different roles existing in the organization and what are the skills required to get those roles executed with the best possible performance. During today's lesson, we will review concepts like skills required for different jobs, turnover and retention, amongst other concepts. The psychological contract can create either a positive or negative relationship between an employer and an individual. Unwritten psychological contracts between employers and employees encompass expectations about both tangible and intangible items. I am going to pause for a moment and I'm going to ask you to think what could be some examples of those tangible and intangible items. So think for a moment. If you were thinking things like wages and benefits as examples of tangible items, you were absolutely correct. Some examples of intangible items can include loyalty, fair treatment, inclusion, and collaboration. Employers may attempt to detail their expectations through employee handbooks and policy manuals, but those materials are only part of the total contractual relationship. Such psychological contracts can be violated not only by personal mistreatment, but from a perception that the organization has abandoned an important principle or cause. Of course, there will be consequences to violating this contract, including loss of trust, turnover, which definitely impacts productivity and revenue. Have you ever heard of the service profit chain? It's a very simple concept, but truly makes sense. The service profit chain says that engaged employees will equal satisfied customers, which in result will bring company profitability. Makes sense, right? So, what companies do to keep an engaged workforce? Employee engagement is a term that has received much attention in the human resources practitioner literature, but less academic attention. Employee engagement includes satisfaction, support from management, using effort beyond a minimum, intention to stay, and other concepts. To reflect on this concept, go to Blackboard and watch video 2 for week 4, which is a TED Talk titled Why We Need to Treat Our Employees as Thoughtfully as Our Customers. When you finish, click on video 3 of week 4 to continue.